Want to become an elite level athlete? Well, look no further. The Reclaim Your Throne Elite D1 training course is all you need to take your performance from subpar to the creme de la creme of athletes all around the world. The purpose of this course is to give you a comprehensive weight training, speed, flexibility, recovery, and endurance program that is meant to prepare young athletes for collegiate and professional sports. This course is packed with over 2 hours of creative, action-packed lifts narrated and coached by yours truly to assure increased strength, speed, flexibility, recovery, and endurance. Hey, I get it. Training alone can be tough and can even make you feel misguided or somewhat unmotivated. But with this course, I walk you step by step through each and every lift to make sure you're using the proper form to prevent injuries and that you're hitting the correct muscle groups to render maximum results. So what are you waiting for? It's now or never. So go ahead and get the training course today so you too can reclaim your throne.
So guys, we have to get into this one. This story is going to be pretty wild, and I always try and bring you guys stories that nobody else is covering. And this is coming from the thick of TikTok. Social media has pretty much, it's turned into a way of exposing corruption, quote unquote, and other things. So I'm going to show you this video of a sister who joined a white sorority and is now being kicked out of that sorority on the first week of Black History Month. So let's get right into it. Okay, so that music is copywritten, so I have to cut it out. I gotta cut it. All right, but this chick says, imagine evicting the only Black girl in the sorority on Black History Month. And the sorority that she is being evicted from or kicked out of is Alpha Gamma Delta. Okay, so this is a white sorority. She's at the University of Kentucky, and the University of Kentucky actually had another incident where a Black girl was called the N-word heavily by some drunk white girl in her dorm. So they're pretty much under fire for the racism. And now you have this sister who is putting everything out on Front Street about what her experience was in this sorority. So we're going to get to her side of the story right now.
Yeah, so the other night, I just got called in a meeting, and then the thing is, I got in trouble over a TikTok, and that TikTok was of a guy dancing on a stripper pole. That's not even bad.
So she got in trouble because of a TikTok, and it was a TikTok of a guy dancing on a stripper pole. And let me tell you something about these sororities. I know y'all see a lot of videos on Barstool and all this other kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, sometimes they really do have private events, especially those parties at the frat house. Sometimes they might want to conceal certain things. And maybe she puts, some fraternity guy on blast when he really wasn't supposed to be put on blast, and he felt some type of way, and then they got at him. Maybe she doesn't really know the back end of how that affected the sorority or the fraternity that they were partying with. But either way, they basically pressing her about her social media, her TikTok. She's putting things on TikTok that they don't really like. Maybe it is not a good representation of the sorority. So I definitely understand that. But she is saying that she's being unfairly singled out because it's other girls that put way worse on their social media. So that's just, I just want you guys to kind of understand what's going on. Also, we're going to read this caption. It says, Part 1, why I'm being evicted. I got called into standards, and they're like, this is the 5th time you've been sent all 5 times about the stuff I post online. My freedom of speech was violated. And like I said, you do represent the sorority. So I don't know specifically what they had an issue with her posting, but it seems like she's not really telling us the full story. Part 2, the harassment and bullying I got from members plus receipts. Okay, so she's about to put out receipts. So let's listen up.
I know some other girls in my chapter have done really awful things, yet they haven't been kicked out.
So she said other girls in her chapter have done really awful things, but they haven't been kicked out. My thing is, was it put on social media? Was it filmed? What's going on here? What were those awful things? I wish she would have been more specific as to what those awful things were, but I don't know. I guess she's trying to protect some of her sorority sisters.
So at the meeting, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're deciding to kick you out. You're still gonna have to pay the full price of living in a sorority, which is like $4,000." I'm like,
so she's getting kicked out, and she's still going to have to pay her sorority dues. Wow. And it looks like she has some type of contacts in her eyes, and obviously she very much sounds like, you know, she kind of sounds like a ditzy country, like Southern blonde type girl. And that's maybe why she joined this specific sorority. And a lot of people would say, oh, well, she's an Oreo. Okay, she's a black girl on the outside, but she's a white girl on the inside, and she talks white and all this stuff. And I'm not even going to put that on her, because at the end of the day, she's speaking proper English. She does use like and likes a little bit too much. But at the end of the day, she's really not she's not like sounding real crazy. But a lot of people I saw in the comments were pointing out that she was an Oreo, and they were saying some other things that were targeting the fact that she sounds and maybe moves like a white girl.
excuse me, what the fuck? Like, not only do I have to find my own housing and pay for that, I also have to pay the fucking sorority bills. Like, be fucking for real. Anyways, so I mean, I'm really happy about the support I'm getting, because like I felt really lonely. Like, I had like 2 panic attacks last night, one during class. Like, I was nearly bawling during class. Like, like I had like water in my eyes and all that.
Okay, so she's saying that she had a panic attack over being disrespected at the sorority house. I mean, this is pretty wild. I'm not gonna lie. She hasn't really given us real specifics, so I'm waiting on that.
Just because like that shit was really stressful. Anyways, I got in contact with the university housing, so I'm gonna move over into that space. I'm just gonna say, this would not happen if I was if I wasn't black. Like, this probably.
So she's basically saying she's getting kicked out and discriminated against solely based off of the color of her skin. Wow.
Wouldn't happen if I wasn't black. Not only that, like, I'm also targeted in my sorority and my chapter. Like, there are like some girls, like a few girls who want me gone, and I'm just like, dude, I pay the dues. I do the things you do, and you don't want me to stay. Like,
and I'm not gonna lie, my initial thought is, what did you expect? This is what I'll say. I think that the white fraternities are more welcoming, of it's gonna sound wild, because you don't really see a lot of black guys in white fraternities. But I do think that, because I have met some, I think they're more welcoming, and they're not really, see, with a guy, you can't be like, you can be racist, yeah, toward a black guy for sure, but there's gonna be repercussions. Like with men, if you have like a black dude in the frat and they're like bullying him or whatever, and he's not like a total like P word, it's gonna be something said about it. Like, they're gonna have to throw hands. There's going to be some type of situation that goes down, and it's usually going to involve violence in order to get that respect. And all the bullying and all that kind of stuff stops once you put hands and feet on somebody. So as a guy, I think those white fraternities are more accepting of people of color, because one, yes, there's still racism, all that stuff, but the guys aren't really hung up on it like that. Um, they might keep things from the brother, but at the end of the day, I really had, like, when I was in school, they definitely had like some black dudes in the white fraternities, and them dudes were, they had no problem, they had no issues. Okay, light skinned dudes, even a couple dark skinned dudes, in the white fraternities. But when I did see like black girls try to join the sororities, it was a whole different dynamic because girls are more catty. They're more combative. I told you there's no such thing as this female solidarity. These girls, they're like mean girls. Okay, so and they're never gonna really resort to violence because as a woman in those sororities, especially like those white sororities, the moment you resort to violence, you're like beneath everybody type stuff. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and then they already have her kind of pegged as like beneath them as well due to their racism. So it's a very interesting dynamic, and I'm surprised they even allowed her to get in. And they probably brought her in to be like the token black girl, but she wasn't conforming or assimilating to the culture well enough, and then they immediately turned on her. So that's what I'm thinking is what happened.
I don't know. Like, I'm just like speechless, but like I'm also like really thankful for the support I'm getting. But like now I'm safe. Like I'm like moving to an apartment, a university apartment. It just not only do I have to pay the chapter house, I have to also pay like living at the university too. Like,
And her parents must have that bag. Her parents must have that bag because I know for a fact she ain't paying for this by herself.
university housing as well. So plus I like signed a lease on an apartment like next year. So like I have to pay like extra for that just because like I don't have a guarantor. I don't know. It's just like I don't know.
Oh, so she don't even have a guarantor. I'm wondering where she's getting all this money from because her parents ain't even her guarantor. Like, what is going on with this girl's life? I don't know. It seems very weird, but we are gonna, attempt to see what's going on with this sorority here.
It's just my year. Okay, so part two, along with what happened last night and today.
So, part two, it says I had to take down the Zoom call for legal reasons, but it will be posted. So apparently, maybe there was like some Zoom call exit meeting, and it might have got, you know, pretty combative in that Zoom call, and maybe some things were said that really sheds a negative light on the sorority. So I definitely want to see that Zoom call. Let's keep going.
Um, I have receipts to show y'all, like, all, the conversations I'm having with the girls about me posting this TikTok and them trying to restrict my freedom of speech once again. Um, Not only that, like, I've also been like targeted like by a few members like from my sorority. And I just know it's them trying to kick me out. That like want to kick me out and that are I mean, like, congrats, you succeeded. Like, I'm kicked out. I'm evicted. I have receipts to show y'all. So I guess like the first is the text just now, like the chapter president trying to get me to take my TikTok down, even though like that's proving my point.
Okay, so they're trying to get her to minimize the exposure on the sorority. I still haven't heard what they actually did to her and how they were directly racist toward her. It seems like maybe there was a small group of girls in the sorority who were pitted against her. But I don't know if she could have just like played chess, she might have could have got them kicked out. You know what I'm saying? Like if she would have just stopped, I guess, posting wild stuff on social media and then used a group of girls within that sorority to her benefit, she probably could have turned the tables. But I think she's playing checkers, not really playing chess, not really seeing the future, not really looking forward. She just emotionally, okay, they did this to me. Let me put it on TikTok. I'm all for exposing corruption, but you have to have like real hard evidence. Maybe the Zoom call was hard evidence, but what she's presenting doesn't seem like the full story. And she's also kind of doing too much on social media. And I know a lot of fraternities, sororities, they're basically secret societies. So they don't want you to be exposing, maybe some secrets or traditions that they do. Yeah, they do humiliation rituals for the public, but at the end of the day, what goes on in the house stays in the house. And I think if she's putting house business online, that could have been a conflict of interest and maybe why they wanted her out. It may not have been solely based off the color of her skin. Now, I don't know yet. We still have to go through the videos, but I'm trying to like listen in for some real hard evidence.
Because like, just because I take my TikTok down doesn't mean you're not going to evict me from the house. Like, I'm already evicted. Like, be fucking for real.
Okay, so she loves saying be effing for real. So it says, hi, at our meeting today, we were unaware that a TikTok had been posted of you outside of our chapter house. I understand that it is your right to post this, but it is an untrue statement, and posting our house on TikTok has made several of our members feel unsafe. I am sure that was not your intent, but would you please take the video down? The other number in this message is Hirdy, our chapter advisor. Hirdy. So they want her to take that video that I just showed you of, imagine getting kicked out of the sorority house on Black History Month, So they want her to take that video down. And that could, I don't think that it would lead to danger. Okay. Maybe they're over exaggerating. Y'all know how white girls do. Oh my God, we're doxxed now. Like, bruh, everybody knew where the sorority house is. I mean, it has the name on it. So if she even would have just mentioned the name, hey, I got kicked out of Alpha, Gamma, Delta, then it would have been history. So but they want her to take it down. I mean, was it immature? Yeah, probably it was. It was probably immature because unless she's presenting real hard evidence of racism toward her, then probably is pretty immature. And they're doing damage control. So I don't know how to feel about this one. All I know is that maybe she was trying a little too hard to be a white girl. Okay. Maybe she was trying a little too hard, and she thought that she was going to fit in, but she just didn't fit in. And she's going to have to find another group of friends, maybe, friends that have melanin and try and work it out with them rather than trying to be something that you're not. I understand that maybe she grew up around country white girls or, always wanted to be in this sorority. But at the end of the day, it just looks like you're not cut out for it because you're doing too much on social media. And then the moment you have a disagreement with the sorority, you're trying to expose them for quote unquote racism. It's just not a good look. And, them white girls are super dramatic. So, I mean, I think she's, I don't know if she can win this PR battle. Yes, she's winning on TikTok. She's getting a lot of views and exposure on TikTok. But unless she really presents some real evidence and then rides this home till the wheels fall off and becomes some type of activist, I don't know if she'll be able to win this PR battle.
Okay, and here are like a few things like harassment that have been like sent to me and like said about me from other members from the sorority as well. They usually post on Yik Yak, and I know they're trying to cyberbully me.
Okay, so just remember, so she's claiming they shot or cyberbullied her. they post on Yik Yak, and Yik Yak is like some anonymous. It's like an anonymous chat for college students mainly. We used to use the Yik Yak on UGA campus, and there was a lot of things that went on Yik Yak. You know, racist jokes against all races. It wasn't just about black people. It wasn't just about Asians. It wasn't just about white people. It was about pretty much everybody. It was just like a forum where you could pretty much say what you want. And then I think there was some guy who like threatened to, you know, shoot up the classroom on Yik Yak, and then that pretty much. I don't remember exactly what they did, but they really started monitoring Yik Yak a lot more closely. So Yik Yak is, you guys get it. It's anonymous, like chat board or something like that. Um, and it looks like they were, you know, cyberbullying her. I'm not sure what she meant by that. If she has screenshots, I would love to see them. But let's keep listening and hear her out.
But that's not going to work because, you know, I always take pictures. Like, that's the thing. Like, you know, that's evidence. Like, you're not hiding anything once you post that.
Okay, so it says sweet to the very and I'm into her either way. Okay, I can't really tell what that says. It says don't send Star Watts numbers if she hook up with one of your brothers and he doesn't date her, she'll report your frat. Okay, so they're basically saying don't send the black girl, I think that's her name. They're saying don't send the black girl your number. If she hookups with one of the frat brothers and he doesn't date her, she'll report your frat. So I wouldn't even say that's exclusive to just the black girl. Women do that, period, in general. I remember one of my homeboys, he was dating this white girl. Well, he wasn't dating her, he was just smashing her. And this girl had the nerve to leave a Yelp review on like, or it wasn't a Yelp review, but it was basically some app where you could rate people who you dated. And she left this whole review on this app about him. And it was just like so extra. And she was just like, oh, don't date him. Da da da. Yes, he has good D, but he'll never commit and all this kind of stuff. So it was just funny to you know, see that they're basically trying to cock block her. That's what it seems like to me. But this is not just her. This is a lot of women who do this. When they get, women don't take rejection well. So when they get rejected, they basically spiral and they try and do whatever they can to get back at you. So maybe they're implying that she would do that. Okay. Star Watts is the mustiest bee I've ever met. Wow. So they're saying she don't smell good. Maybe she is musty. I don't know. Okay. She really could be musty. I'm not going to lie. The way she talks, it kind of talks like she kind of, you know, is a mouth breather. You know, I'm not going to lie. She kind of speaks like a mouth breather, but I don't see how that's necessarily racist. Yes, maybe it is, I guess, considered cyberbullying for sure. But I don't see how, you know, the race comes into it. But let's keep going. Oh, okay. Hold on. She has some more screenshots. Okay. Oh, this is getting messy, y'all. Oh Lord, this is crazy. All right. It says where some good places to serve near campus. Serve. Maybe some illicit drug usage. Star Watts has nothing better to do than spread diseases and report frats because her musty STD riddled behind is not wanted. So it looks like she joined the sorority. Okay, so now it's all starting to come together. It sounds like she might have joined the white sorority in order to deal with white men. Okay. And she started sleeping around with these guys and made a name for herself. I don't know if she has STDs, but it definitely seems like there are some girls who are hating on her. Okay. And everybody gets haters. I get haters, okay? I get haters. So the time of the semester where everyone comments on Star Watts is here. I'm dead. I mean, this is very anonymous. It could just be one or two people.
Want to become an elite level athlete? Well, look no further. The Reclaim Your Throne Elite D1 training course is all you need to take your performance from subpar to the creme de la creme of athletes all around the world. The purpose of this course is to give you a comprehensive weight training, speed, flexibility, recovery, and endurance program that is meant to prepare young athletes for collegiate and professional sports. This course is packed with over 2 hours of creative, action-packed lifts narrated and coached by yours truly to assure increased strength, speed, flexibility, recovery, and endurance. Hey, I get it. Training alone can be tough and can even make you feel misguided or somewhat unmotivated. But with this course, I walk you step by step through each and every lift to make sure you're using the proper form to prevent injuries and that you're hitting the correct muscle groups to render maximum results. So what are you waiting for? It's now or never. So go ahead and get the training course today so you too can reclaim your throne.
Yo, what's good? I don't know why my camera is not hooked up. Hold on, give me 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second. Let me see. Hold on, I'm gonna leave and then come back. Okay, I don't know why, but my camera is tripping. I don't want to derail the show. And I do want to cam up, but hold on. Hold up. I see why. That should do it. All right, hold up. There we go. Damn. All right. We in here. What? We in here. Okay. I know I have not gone live in a bit. Let me turn up my mic. Is the sound good? Is the audio good? Yo, mic check. All right, we good. We live. Yo, Charlamagne, we live. Yeah, we live. Guys, we have an action-packed show for you guys. Action-packed show. Sorry, I'm not gonna say exactly what I'm getting, but I'm getting some good news coming in. But we've got an action-packed show for you guys, bruh. This shit finna be crazy. This sound crazy. All right. I'm working on the soundboard. I'm working on the street interviews. It's warming up. We're gonna get back into the street interviews. Sorry, I just hopped out the shower. A nigga is still moist. Pause. But we do have an action-packed show for you guys. I'm going to be reading an article that I saw. And this is not a good news article, okay? It's not a good news article for the ladies. It's not. But we are going to break it down because it's very important for people to understand exactly what's going on with young women and their mental health. So that's always important, and we want to keep an eye on that, right? Well, all of this news on social media, all of this back and forth, this quote unquote gender war on social media would like to tell or spin the narrative that the women are winning the gender war, They don't need no man. They're great. They've got their OnlyFans. You know, they're living up to the best life and they're living their movie, brev, like King Richard says. But that is not that's not the case. Okay, it's not the case at all. And I'm gonna pull up this article, and it's a very sad article. But we're gonna read it. We're gonna read it all. Okay, because we want to understand the data. The why is the real question. The why. Why are teen girls reporting record levels of violence, sadness, and self-deletion risk? This is coming from the CDC. Now, what I will say about the CDC is that we should take it with a grain of salt. Okay? We should take it with a grain of salt because the CDC has been wrong on many occasions, especially recently with the toilet paper flu. So, we're just going to leave it right there, but we will, because this is an authority. And yes, in this case, since it supports kind of what we have been saying over here, we're going to appeal to the, we're definitely going to appeal to the authority bias. Okay. Big facts. Big facts. All right. In this case. And it's unfortunate, but I mean, this is the reality. This is the reality, man. Teen girls report a record level of violence, sadness, and self-deletion risk. Now, when it comes to that violence, we have seen a lot of these women tweak out. And I've done stories on Black Gen Z Mindset where I specifically focus on the Black community. But we have seen some situations like Courtney Clinny and my nigga Christian Obuselli. Free my nigga. She took him out. She killed him. Stabbed him. Then tried to make it seem like it was an accident. Then played a role in front of the prosecutors. Then played a character in front of the detectives, the homicide detectives. She caught a body. She caught a body. These women are getting violent. They are. And I mean, not as violent as the men, for sure, because men are known for their ability to manipulate matter and obstacles in their way, i.e. violence. But the fact that the women are getting more violent shows that the women are taking on more masculine traits. And that's where we come to. That's the conclusion that we come to without even reading the article, just looking at the headline. That is the conclusion that we come to. So shout out to pause. Okay. We ain't coming to nothing but bitches. But shout out to House of Lamar. He says, oh shit, my boy. Live. Yes, I am live. Okay. You already know.
Oh, say less.
Suavage says exactly what did she expect? Yeah. When we were talking about the Star Watts situation, she joined a white frat and white sorority. And unfortunately, it did not pan out in she didn't get the results that she was going for. And honestly, I think if she would have just played back, laid cool, shut the fuck up and stopped doing shit on social media, it could have worked out. Because and this is a little bit off topic, but this also is on topic because Star Watts is technically a young woman, a quote unquote teen girl. And I'm sure her getting kicked out of, what was it, Kappa Phi Gamma or something like that. Her getting kicked out of that white sorority was, I don't like the overuse of the word traumatic, but I'm sure that she would say that was a traumatic situation for her. I know that trauma isn't necessarily associated to violence all the times, but I definitely think that trauma is a very strong word and needs to be used correctly, not just for you to say, oh, I suffered trauma from, my last relationship when my boyfriend, didn't lift the seat up on the toilet. Like I'm tired of this diminishing of very serious words, okay, like misogyny, like misandry, like I hate men, or all this rhetoric that's coming from the other side. It's coming from the other side now. Okay. But yeah, I mean, Star Watts, what did you expect, love? Okay, what did you expect? You joined a white sorority. You was doing too much on the talk. You was doing too much on the gram, and they had to get you the fuck up out of there. I mean, that's really what it was. That's really what it comes down to. Okay. Kay Kells says, "Why are you joining a white sorority anyway?" Yes, I mean, and this I don't want to come down too hard on Star Watts because white sororities can take you far, especially since she was a swirler, as we found out in the TikTok or the Yik Yak messages. Excuse me, she is a swirler. She is a swirler, so she was swirling, looking for white men because that is her preference. That's her preference, and it's fine. It's okay, but there was jealousy, maybe, okay, because she was probably giving it up easier. You know what I'm saying? According to the Yik Yaks. Now, I don't know if this was true. I don't know how many guys she slept with. I don't know if she was reporting these guys after the fact. But I know at these frat and sorority parties, a lot of alcohol, a lot of things go on. That's just the reality. Based Muslim says the younger generation already was corrupted by the older. He also says she a Brad whisperer. Yes, she is a Brad whisperer. So with that being said, let's get into the topic at hand. All right. We have an article written by Adriana Rodriguez. Okay. And Adriana is a bilingual health reporter who covers patient safety and other health news for USA Today. Before that, she was a News Now reporter covering breaking and trending news. I'm a Northwestern University alum from the Meadle School of Journalism, Media, and Integrated Marketing Communication. So shout out to Adriana Rodriguez. It looks like her career is flourishing. And, you know, although she is most likely a leftist reporter, we do have to show respect for the hustle. We do have to show respect for the grind. You know, if she's not using ChatGPT to write up these articles, then I respect it. Unless we find serious grammatical errors. Then I'm gonna feel some type of way. Let's see. Hold on. I gotta send this wire real quick. But anyways, let's get into the article. If you or someone you know needs mental health support, contact the National Self-Deletion and Crisis Lifeline by dialing 988. Okay, so and after this article, we're going to get into, you know, maybe why this is occurring with young women out here who are pretty much saying they're strong and independent and whatnot. I mean, obviously, the internet has a big role to play in, you know, female happiness, especially teen female happiness. So we have to take that into account as well. But it says teen girls are experiencing record levels of violence, sadness, and self-deletion risk in the United States, according to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention report released Monday. Data shows that 57% of high school girls felt persistently sad or hopeless in 2021, a nearly 60% increase and the highest level reported after the past decade. And that could have been because of the toilet paper bug, because a lot of women, they were lacking that social connection that they kind of need for their happiness. You know, women need that social connection for their happiness. And I think that a lot of times they do like to overplay or underplay that, right? They like to say, oh, I don't need a man. I don't want a man. But at the end of the day, bruh, there ain't no woman on the world. There ain't no woman in the world who doesn't want a man who like loves them for real and, you know, wants to be that protector, that provider, and have that traditional family. I don't give a fuck what they say. I don't care if they say they never want kids. I don't care if they say they never want to get married. I don't care if they say they're focusing on a career. That's just what women want. And they're going to say, oh, well, not every woman wants that. Well, I mean, you say that, but then when you get in your 60s and you're regretting your whole life, then you're like, fuck, like, yeah, I was saying that so hard in my youth, but it was a cope. It was a cope, y'all, and they're not willing to admit it until they are infertile. Let's see. So you have the 60% increase and the highest level reported over the past decade. In comparison, 29% of boys the same age reported the same feelings. Okay. So you have 50% of the women or the high school girls were feeling persistently sad or hopeless in 2021. And then 29% of the boys the same age reported that same feeling. Now stop. Let's look at these numbers. Let's break this down. What does that 29% number remind you of? What does that 29% number remind you of? Anybody in the chat? Can anybody in the chat tell me what that 29% reminds you of? That 29% number. Come on. Come on. Okay. Shout out to my nigga GQ. Come on. What does that 29% number reflect in other data that we have? Okay. In other data that we've analyzed about the current dating market, especially with young men, specifically Gen Zers. Yep. That's right. That's right. Between 1 and 3 men, between the ages of 18 and 31, and it's probably younger than that, but they just said 18 because that's the age of consent, have reported that they are virgins or haven't had intercourse in a year. So 29% is very close to that 33%. So the 29% of boys the same age who report that feeling of, sadness and hopelessness are the guys who aren't getting laid in high school, in middle school, even. Dare I say, but that's what's happening. That's what's happening. Dude, middle school, to me, because I have a really good memory, middle school is like a reach away. And I'm 27 years old, and middle school feels like fucking yesterday. Now, I don't know if it's going to feel that same way when I'm 40, but middle school, I could grab middle school and throw it across the room. That's how close that it feels to me. That's how close it feels to me. Okay? You have these 29% of boys who feel that sadness and hopelessness. I guarantee those are the boys who don't have, girlfriends. All right? Those are the boys who don't have girlfriends. And then those 57% of high school girls who felt persistently sad or hopeless, how much you want to bet they're dealing with the top 5% of men in that high school, top 10% of men in that high school, the Malcolms, the massively attractive, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable men. Not the mildly attractive, not the medium ugly, the massively attractive, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable men. Guys, that was just the first freaking paragraph. High school should be a time for trailblazing, not trauma, said Dr. Deborah Oury. Guys, remember, I said this freaking trauma stuff. What trauma, bro? What trauma are they? Keep it a buck. Okay, this is what I'll say. There are a lot of fights in high school now. The violence is increasing, for sure. So that could be a piece of the trauma, getting into fights, beefing, having that anxiety that you might have to fight. There was a big beef between dark skin and light skin women in my middle school. So the light skinned girl having anxiety, she coming to school, she finna fight 3 bitches that look like Precious. Okay. And then they mama coming through to beat her ass after school. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of trauma. So I can legitimize that trauma because that's real. The agency's chief medical officer and deputy director for program and science, that's Deborah Oury. These data show our kids need far more support to cope, hope, and thrive. The CDC's Youth Risk Behavior Survey also found 30% of girls seriously considered attempting self-deletion, a nearly 60% increase from a decade ago. So 10 years ago, that number was pretty much inexistent. Okay? That number was inexistent. But now you have a 60% increase. And why is that? Why is that? Are we blaming it on feminism? Is that what we're doing? I think it's deeper than that. I think it's deeper than that, y'all. I can't just solely say, hey, the ism, you know? It's a factor. God damn, I'm sweating like a preacher. Woo! It's a factor. But I can't solely say that that's the issue. I'm going to have to turn my AC on in a second, boy. It's hot. 18% experience intercoursal violence in the past year. A 20% increase since 2017. Okay, now, this number, like I said, I'm going to have to see the data. But this 18% experiencing intercoursal violence is a 20% increase since 2017. I'm trying to figure out what they consider intercoursal violence. Because if that means grape, then they're saying 1 in 5 women are being raped in high school. And that is not the fucking truth. That's not the truth at all. And I'll stand on that. And I'll stand on that. Okay? I mean, I can't get behind that number. All right? And this is the CDC. Like I said, we're taking it with a grain of salt. So these are approximations in my book. But if this is true, that is a 20% increase since 2017. 14% had been forced to have intercourse, a 27% increase in 2009. Okay, now they're reaching like a motherfucker. So they're basically saying men are assaulting women more, and that's why so they're blaming it on men. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. Okay? They're trying to say 1.5 and 10 women had been forced to have intercourse. What? Nah, bruh. Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, in high school, ain't nobody forcing these hoes to fuck. Respectfully. At least when I was there. And I know it's even more pronounced. It's even more pronounced. Nobody is forcing these hoes to fuck. I'm going to tell you that right now. Distant Light says, we know social media plays a huge part of it, but these companies that own it don't want to do too much about it because it would cut into their business models, in my opinion. Facts. AI Captain says, dope jersey. Thank you. It is a D-Wade jersey, even though we're not big on D-Wade. But I ain't gonna lie, the jersey goes hard. Distant Lights says, and this pandemic has been rough on a lot of people in some aspects. Absolutely. I 100% agree. Regular Degula throws a dap. Regular Degula also says grape. He also says that's cap, but they do call everything grape today. Yeah, that's facts. Alpha Zo says, but women are the freest they ever been, and equality is the talk of the country. What happened? Exactly. I really don't believe these numbers. The 18% experience intercoursal violence in the past year, and then the 14% had been forced to have intercourse. That's bullshit. Who are they being forced by? High school boys? Oh, no, they're not. See, this is the bullshit because, like I said before, when we were in school, the elementary school bitches was fucking with the middle school niggas. The middle school bitches was fucking with the high school niggas. The high school bitches was fucking with the college niggas. The college bitches, the undergrad bitches was fucking with the, the post grad, the guys who are, getting their masters, their doctorate. All right. And then the women who go out in the real world, well, we know what they doing. Okay. Alphazo says sexually free, not stigma to do drugs. Women, the most college educated for BS degrees, acting like an competing with men. I don't need a man mentality. Also, vaping. Now, I'm not saying that. Well, I mean, you probably could link that to like the vaping is a cope. The vaping is like a nasty habit that a lot of the chicks pick up, right? Because if you ain't vaping medicinal, then I don't know what the fuck you doing. If you vaping that like nicotine tobacco shit or whatever, the jewel pod shit, I don't know what the fuck you doing. If you ain't vaping on no medicinal, bro, it's over. Regular Degla says the girls smashing for more than the boys. Facts. And the girls are only smashing a small minority of those guys anyway. If they're smashing guys in high school, that's an if. Because when I was in school, all the girls at my school wanted to deal with boys who were at another school. They either wanted to deal with older men, like just straight up college niggas, or they wanted to deal with boys who were at, another school. Because they like, oh, the boys here are just I like them Elberton boys, or I like them Loganville boys. I like them Jefferson boys. I don't like the boys at Athens. They lame as fuck. They they this, they that. I like them Tucker boys. I like them Jonesboro niggas. I like them Fayette County niggas. I like them, Fulton County niggas. I like them Milton niggas. I like them Habersham niggas. So they was on like, they were literally what they saw what we had. And then they just completely about-faced. Not all of them, obviously. And I'm not talking about myself per se, but I'm talking about in general, okay? Because, I grew up in a house with 3 girls, 3 sisters. They all, well, 2 of them were cheerleaders, and then they all played basketball as well. So I was around a lot of, high school girls and whatnot. We used to have sleepovers at the crib. They used to come over. Sometimes a nigga would fuck. Like it was, we was lit. I had a great time in high school, but I do know guys who struggled in high school. And I do know that there were plenty of good guys at my high school who, got looked over and they, were not able to secure any type of sexual interaction, for whatever reason, but they were good guys. But the women, the girls, the high school girls, they were looking right over those guys and going to, the Jonesboro niggas or the Fayetteville niggas or the, what's that other one? It's Fayette. Oh, Morrow, the Morrow niggas or them Tucker niggas or, these are counties in Georgia that, we were rival schools of ours, if you will. So, I mean, these were the guys that they were looking at, man. They wanted guys from other schools more than they wanted the guys in their own backyard. And it's almost like you have everything you need, but you still want more type of thing. And that's the hypergamous nature going to work in the high schools. And like I said, if y'all think that middle school to me is a reach away, bro, imagine, bro, high school, nigga, I could tell you everything that I said literally in high school, like anything that I said. I mean, I damn near can tell you exactly what I said in any situation. If you brought it up, remember when we was at that party at Kyle's house and then we was lit and, his dad went out of town and we threw this big ass party and the high school quarterback came through. Like, what did you say when, we popped out the moonshine and like, nigga, I know exactly what the fuck I said. Goddamn. Oh, nigga choked on the water. Shit. All right, we're gonna keep going through this article. Let's see, and also, I would say that those numbers are probably inflated by women who are retroactively withdrawing consent. Women who are retroactively withdrawing consent. Remember that. Remember, I said this all the time. There are women out here, who retroactively withdraw consent. Look at the boys from Ohio State. Huh? Look at the boys from Ohio State. Huh? All right. Them boys got accused of rape and they didn't even do that shit, bro. They were acquitted, lost their careers. Now they're in their mid-20s. Years of their career gone. you know, off of the baseless claims of, unfortunately, a white woman. Okay. Good thing my niggas didn't get Emmett Till. All right. We in 2023. All right. So at least they're still here to tell the tale. Let's see. Regular Degla said the girls smashing far more than the boys. Yeah, they are. Chancellor said, I wonder how many just regret busting it open and just call it great. Exactly. AlphaZo says music, media, news, colleges brainwash them to destroy the nuclear family and oppose men. Now they miserable and we've lost the children. Yep, it's OV. AlphaZo says they infiltrate the numbers or they inflate the numbers by allowing women to include rape and assault by simply looking at them aggressive or talking in an aggressive manner. Everything counts as great. Right. Base Muslim says the older generation got them, unfortunately. Yep. Mr. Jake the Grape says, I vape that Cali honey. Yum, yum. AlphaZo says vaping definitely a growing trend among women. Drinking, pill popping, social media is a drug because they are always watching and competing with others. Yeah, I mean, the white girls are heavy on the jewel pods and shit. Base Muslim says, well, ironically, the high school boys I speak with are now becoming passport bros. Absolutely. You are absolutely correct. And a lot of these high school boys are even willing to go to the military. They're willing to serve their country because they know that the military, I mean, respectfully, is some pussy shit now. They got Transformers as generals now. Transformers, generals in disguise. Okay, they have Transformer colonels. Okay, Transformer colonels. All right, imagine you going through personal training and fitness training. What's that shit they call the boot camp for the new guys who come in? Damn, I forgot. But the guys who come into the military when they doing their first year. Anyways, imagine your drill sergeant is a fucking transformer, bruh. It's OV, like a fully like surgically enhanced transformer. And they're telling you to do all these drills and all these pull-ups, and they can't even do them. Imagine if it was a transformer man, so female to male, like we covered in that Kendra G video. Regular Douglas says facts 100, same here. All the girls was smashing grown men in high school. They like the lifestyle, the cars, the money, all the things the high school boys didn't have. Exactly. Give me 1 second, guys. I gotta turn the AC down because it's hot. All right, we back, boys. AlphaZo says women have an unhealthy addiction to drugs, vape, and drinking because they get it for free most of the time, so they can't control themselves, and it almost always leads to promiscuity. Yeah, that is facts. You know, just the sheer amount of alcohol they have access to is crippling. Base Muslim says a lot of women are on meds. Yes. I think 1 in 4 women above the age of 45, single and childless, are on antidepressants. Noel D says the reckless behavior they practice always catches up to these women in the long run. Yes. Base Muslim says one such woman is on meds because she was too lazy to go to the gym and got gastro bypass surgery. Wow. He says, yet she's still pushing like 200. Damn. AlphaZo says until they hit 30 to 40 years old and start calling men creepers and grooming a like Nia Long and Bad Baby. Yeah, exactly, guys. Remember, I did the video on Nia Long. Go check out that live, bro. I broke it all the way down. Alphazo says the men weren't gross when they were finessing money and resources out of them. They were in their prime, but once they hit the wall, they start playing victim. Facts. And the reason why these high school girls subconsciously are dating these older men, because they know that they are on a ticking time clock. They know that, yo, okay, men find me attractive now. I need to hurry up. I need to hurry up and take advantage of this. I mean, I ain't even gonna cap, bro. Like, you know, my stepsister, bro, she literally had like double D's in damn near 5th grade. Like, it was ridiculous, bro. So she started to get attention from grown ass niggas. Like, bro, I ain't gonna lie. She was dating, man. I mean, she was dating up. That's all I'll say. She was dating up. Okay. And not like significantly, but the fact that like a middle schooler is dating a nigga who's in 10th grade, like she in 6th grade dating a 10th grader. I'm like, damn. Like, nigga, I wish I could get a 10th grader in 6th grade, motherfucker. Like, hoes was still calling a nigga cute. Oh, he's so cute. He's so pretty. Base Muslim says it is. You're right. The military is trash. Yes. PT. Yes. PT. Basic training. Yes. Regular Degla says, yeah, basic training. Distant Light says, imagine having to keep a straight face, getting chewed out by a transformer drill sergeant, dude. Man, I'll be so disrespectful. I ain't even gonna lie. Distant Light says, rainbow colored hair man calling you a maggot. Oh my God, dude, it's crazy. Chancellor says, Decepticons as drill sergeants. I identify as Megatron. Right. Alphazo says they are about to ban pronouns in the military. Can't say ma'am or sir anymore. Alphazo says where I'm from, middle schoolers and high schoolers were banging grown men 21 plus. Yeah, I mean, South Florida is on and popping that bread. I mean, these women they're on social media. They're on social media, and their crush, their celebrity crush, is like 10 years older than them. Okay. And the difference between men having a celebrity crush who's 10 years older than them, because shit, when I was in high school, middle schools, yeah, Megan Good, you know, Kelly Rowland, Gabrielle Union, before I found out she was batshit crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like Nia Long, obviously. I wasn't so big on Jada Pinkett. I never was really big on Jada Pinkett. But Mariah Carey, I mean, obviously, the difference between the men and the women is like, yeah, we would have those fantasies, but guess what we'll have to do? We'll have to go to fucking Pornhub or X videos and then find some nigga who's good at Photoshop who can, like, you know, Photoshop Mariah Carey's face on some fucking famous porn star's body. That's what men had to do. What did the women do? They just open up their phones, Instagram DMs, and they're with them niggas. 13, 14, 15. I ain't making this shit up. I'm not making this shit up. Yep. Distant Light says Megan Fox, Hillary Duff. Yep. And I seen this Photoshop picture of Hillary Duff with a big old ass. I was like, God dang. And trust me, guys, we're going to get to the men too. We're going to talk about the men, you know, because they always like, oh, what about the men though? The men aren't doing their jobs either. Hold on. We're going to talk about the men, guys. We are going to talk about the men. Let me just find that video. Okay, I got it. But we're going to talk about the men. Don't worry. Fair, because every time you say something about women, you have to say something about the men. Well, the men aren't stepping up, right? So you've got to do that. You got to do it. All right. Let's get back into the data. Majority of LGBT plus students surveyed reported sadness and hopelessness. Okay. And I mean, duh, we pretty much know why, but they're still pushing this agenda. They're still pushing the agenda, even though the majority of LGBT students surveyed reported sadness and hopelessness. The majority. So it's not, you know, like, I mean, with the women, 57% is pretty much the majority as well. But the boys, that just goes to show that men are happier than women. Men are happier than women. Why? Because we're content with our life. Fuck, my life's shitty, but hey, it is what it is. My life sucks. Fuck it. What can you do? You're dealt the cards, right? We deal with it. And men deal with it at a young age. Men deal with it at a very young age. Okay. We deal with it at a very young age. Damn, I'm not tall enough to fuck this bitch. Fuck. Shit. All right. Chalk it up to the game. Right? We deal with it at a very young age. Majority of LGBTQ plus students surveyed reported sadness and hopelessness. The new report also underscored emotional distress among teens who identified as LGBT, finding nearly 70%. Ugh, that's an eerie number. 70%, y'all. 70%. 70%, y'all. Come on. Come on. I mean, just consider taking the dick out of somebody's ass and putting in some pussy. Just consider it. Just consider it, okay? These are staggering numbers. 70% of LGBTQ plus students experience persistent feelings of sadness or hopelessness. And the thing is, LGBTQ plus students are manufactured, okay? They're groomed into what they are. And there's more of them starting to be groomed into LGBTQ-ness, okay? There's more of them that are starting to be groomed into that. So you have to think about the converts as well, because there's some kids who had no thought in the world about no damn, none of this stuff. They had no care in the world. And then boom, now it's in the curriculum, and now they have to seriously consider at a young age, damn, one of my friends, I think he looks better than me. So does that make me gay? Like, I remember growing up and you'd be like, damn, like this, I had a friend and he was like really, he was like really handsome. And this is at a young age. You understand hierarchies as a young boy. Damn, this dude is, shit, we in 4th grade and this nigga's 5'9". And then, he's over here looking like a fucking grown man. And I'm just sitting over here still trying to figure out how to get the swings to work. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, as a young boy, you see that and you're just like, damn, like that shit is crazy. Like, this nigga is like an Adonis, but that doesn't make you gay. It just makes you understand that, okay, there are guys who are bigger, stronger, faster, better looking, better at different things than I am. What can I do to stand out? What can I do to get that outstanding factor, outstanding feature about me? All right. And that's what men have to decide at a very young age. Damn, you know what I'm saying? All these niggas is taller than me. I got to be funny. Damn, all these niggas are, all these niggas look better than me in the face. I got to get my body right. Right. Or you start to understand where you're at, hierarchy wise as a young man, and you adjust. Okay. But nowadays they want to tell you, if you even look at a guy and be like, shit, when we was in middle school in the locker rooms, niggas was walking around butt naked and you like, damn, this nigga is like rocking with a grown man dick. And then, we over here with our middle school dicks just sitting up here like, what the fuck? This nigga got grown man dick in the locker room and he just walking around confidently because he knows his dick is bigger than everybody's. Okay. So in middle school now, they'll say, hey, if you acknowledge that his dick is bigger than yours, maybe you actually are gay. And it's like, no, he's just more hung than me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just saying, like the way that they're marketing it in the schools is to convert niggas into homosexuality. Like, you had one gay thought, you're gay. Stand on it. You know what I'm saying? Put it in your bio. You had one gay thought, like, damn, you know what I'm saying? And I guess it's not even gay to acknowledge that somebody's better than you at something, but you have one thought and then boom, they're trying to say, oh, well, you should really consider joining the LGBTQ chess club. Like what, my nigga? What the fuck? But anyways, yeah, I would just say, LGBTQ men I'm specifically talking to. The men. which there are significantly less people who identify as LGBTQ plus, men, right? But the men, I would say, highly consider getting some pussy. For the women who are LGBTQ plus, I would say slow down. Okay, slow down. Find out how to deprogram yourself from all this bullshit. Watch my channel. Watch other guys' channels. Okay, slow the fuck down. Do not do anything drastic. Don't get any tattoos. Don't get any piercings. Because, bro, I have seen some women, like, there's this libs of TikTok, Twitter, I'm sure you guys are all aware. And it'll be like transformation. It'll be like a transformation Tuesday or something like that. And they'll just post picture after picture after picture of young women who, were young, pretty girls at first. And then they just one day wake up and now they're trans and they've got fucking piercings all through their lips. And you know what I'm saying? It's just completely insane, the transformation that a lot of these young girls go through. All right. It's completely insane. So let's see. Let's read the rest. All right. 52% had recently experienced poor mental health. 45% had seriously considered attempting self-deletion in the past year. And 22% had attempted self-deletion in the past year. And guess who they're going to blame that on? Men. They're going to blame it on men. Look, watch. Nearly 1/4 were bullied at school, and about 30% were bullied online in 2021. There you go. And who are they saying are the bullies? Who are they saying are the bullies of the LGBT community? Men. Which is an absolute lie, I would say. Yes, if you have a close friend and he does some gay shit and he does some sus shit, will you get on his ass? Pause. Will you make fun of him? Yes, you will make fun of him, whatever. But men don't actively seek engagement, conversation, interaction with other homosexual men, especially if they are out of the closet. Okay? I'm going to just tell you that right now. And I have nothing against homosexual men nor homosexual women. I think the trans stuff is crazy. Okay? I think they're going overboard. Although I do support trans women going into female sports and teaching them hoes a lesson. Because guess what? Who are the main ones advocating for this, heavy LGBT movement? Like, whatever you do in your bedroom, that's fine. I mean, I don't give a fuck, okay? You want to fuck some buttholes? Fine with me, all right? It does not matter to me. But once you start bringing it into the schools, once you start pushing it on young people, once you try to, have gender affirming pronouns for 5-year-olds, then I'm like, that's where I draw the line. I do want to see more trans women in female sports because I do want men to take over female sports. I'm just going to keep it a buck. And I myself may actually, turn trans. I ain't going to get no surgery, but I will literally drop my dreads and turn trans in order to compete against women in female sports, just to prove a point. Because who were the ones pushing this narrative? I mean, it was women. It wasn't men. Men don't go out of their way to have any social interactions with LGBT individuals. Heterosexual cisgender men, we don't go out of our way to have, we can handle them, right? Like, you come across a gay dude, hey, we're going to have a good conversation, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it's not even a token, oh, that's my token gay friend. No, it's not like it's just, being a man. Hey, I'm going to respect you as a man. Boom, boom, bap. Don't try me on no gay shit and we good. That's it. That ain't no problem. That ain't no problem. Okay? That's it. But like I said, heterosexual men don't actively go out of their way to have any type of social interactions or engagement with LGBT men. So who's really the ones bullying these LGBT men? Who are the people that these LGBT men spend most of their time around? Okay? I'm just saying. Who do they spend most of their time around? Who do they spend most of their time chilling with, kikiing with? Think about it. The survey did not have a question assessing gender identity, so data does not reflect students who identify as transgender or non-binary. But health officials said the questions will be included in the 2023 survey. Okay, so there you have it. CDC has, I mean, they've been woke. Now let's look at the racial and ethnic disparity. So it's we finna get some bad numbers, Black community. So don't hold your breath. We are finna get some bad numbers. We're finna get some. I'm already telling you right now, we're finna get some bad numbers. A look at racial and ethnic disparity. Gotta take a sip. God damn. Shit. Oh man, that white rhino be hitting. A look at racial and ethnic disparities. Okay, racial and ethnic disparities were also prevalent. Here we go. Black and Hispanic students were more likely than Asian, white, and multiracial students to miss school because of safety concerns. And I'm just gonna keep it a buck. A lot of these students, these Black and Hispanic students, are truants. Okay, they skip class, they don't go to school, they're derelicts, they don't attend, they're tardy, they're absent. I mean, dude, I went to all Black and Hispanic school. The school that I graduated from was majority Black and Hispanic. And I got respect for, my Latina brothers and whatnot, but let's keep it a buck. Y'all niggas be skipping class like a motherfucker. They be skipping class like a motherfucker. And they be the ones that's smoking weed in the bathroom. I mean, Black kids smoke weed in the bathroom too. But, the Hispanic kids, they were literally notoriously known for smoking weed in the bathroom. And the reason why they didn't like school so much and they didn't attend school so much, in my opinion, is because, for one, obviously there was a lot of single motherhood with the Black and Hispanic community. But we're specifically talking about the Hispanic community right now. I would say that one of the main reasons why Hispanics were not attending school was because they were biracial and their first language was Spanish, and a lot of them had come over here in middle school, early high school. A lot of them were put in slow classes. Okay, no, and this is no disrespect. I'm not calling y'all slow. I'm saying the school system is fucked up. Okay, and if y'all want to know more about the school system and social workers and all that kind of stuff, y'all can talk to Dr. Umar about that shit. But the Hispanic kids, if they did not speak fluent English, they were put in the slow classes. They were put in the slow classes. Okay, that's just a fact. That's just a fact. So they were put in the slow classes, bro. I mean, I'm not trying to say that they are slow, but the reason why they didn't come to school is because shit. I mean, I would be very discouraged from coming to school too if I was like, in my mind, I know I'm not like stupid and I know I'm not like retarded. That's what we used to say back in the day, like the retarded niggas. But like, in my mind, I know for a fact, and I'm thinking as a Hispanic man, I'm damn near bilingual. My English isn't that good. By the time I'm a junior or senior, I'm gonna have it down packed. Okay, I know how to do math. I know how to, I know social studies. I can read it if it's in Spanish fluently. It's gonna take me a minute in English, but I can read it if it's in Spanish. And then, I also I'm good at science. I'm good at all these different classes, but I struggle with English. I struggle with my second language. So immediately they're like, oh, well, he can't speak English that well. Put him in the retarded class. Guys, I don't know. Where are my Hispanic homies? Where are my essays out here? Where are my hombres out here? Bro, tell me if I'm lying. A lot of the Hispanic kids were put in the retarded classes. A lot of them were put in the slow classes. A lot of the Hispanic kids were literally riding the slow bus. The short bus. Y'all remember that short bus, shawty, short bus, shawty, short bus, shawty. A lot of the Hispanic kids were put in the slow classes dealing with, and no disrespect, but they was like dealing with niggas who was like they were really like they were dealing with niggas who they were in class with those niggas who were drooling on themselves in class, like niggas who were bound to a wheelchair for the rest of their life, like niggas who were Stephen Hawking out, but they didn't have any type of intelligence that Stephen Hawking did, like niggas who were in the wheelchair, but they're completely brain dead. No brain activity. And the Hispanic kids were put in those classes just because they couldn't speak English. That's fucked up. That was fucked up. And that, see, Mr. Jake the Great says correct, can confirm. Exactly. This is public school. And a lot of niggas like to say, oh, well, Jen Quavius, you ain't never been around no black kids or Reclaim. You ain't never, dude. The high school I graduated from was majority black and Hispanic, and I can tell you for a fact that the Hispanic kids were considered retarded. Like literally, like all the black kids made fun. Like we used to have race fights in the cafeteria, bruh, over who was. I mean, it would start off as, oh, who's smarter, because you know they, like I said, black kids in schools are eternally ruthless. So there's going to be jokes, I mean, going on and on and on. Joning, fights in the cafeteria. I'm just keeping it a buck, bro. I'm just keeping it a buck. And I loved high school. I loved every moment of it. I love like cheering on the fights. I love, you know, oh, go, go. I love filming the fights. You know, I know that it's wrong now, but in the moment when I was in high school, I was like, hell yeah, fuck them up. Dude, I used to see so many fights. Dude, one time I was in computer class, and I know I'm going on a tangent, but basically my point was the reason why a lot of Hispanics are derelicts and they don't go to class and they don't go to school was because, yes, they do. A lot of them have ops too. You know, we had a high population of MS-13 and SIR-13, especially after Hurricane Katrina. Like them niggas were like middle school with face tattoos. Straight up. Middle school with face tattoos. I'm not even joking. You think I'm making this shit up? Middle school, face tattoos, knuckle tattoos, bodies. Dead ass. One time I had this, I ain't gonna put his name out there, but nigga, I was 11 going on 12. I was in the 7th grade. I was friends with this Hispanic nigga, and he was a fucking rat. He was a snitch. You know what I'm saying? But he literally told me that he caught a body when he was in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina. Like he literally said he caught a body. And I was like, okay, like I ain't give a fuck. I was like, nigga, you ain't finna kill me, bitch ass nigga. And he ended up fucking telling on me because this teacher, I ain't gonna put his name out there, but this teacher had took up his Nintendo DS. And he wasn't as slick as me. He used to we used to both be playing Mario Kart in class, and then he got his shit taken up. And then, you know, I was like, yo, that's my homie. That's my hombre. That's my essay. That's my nigga, right? And I went and I stole the Nintendo DS. I stole the Nintendo DS from the teacher's desk, and I gave it back to him. And this motherfucker, bro, he got in trouble. He got taken to the principal's office and whatnot. And this motherfucker gonna tell the assistant principal, who was the disciplinarian. His name was Mr. Williams. He was a fucking badass. And, you know, he was a scary motherfucker. Big ass, like 6'4" dude, swole as shit, worked out every fucking day. I mean, this dude's scary. Black dude. And, you know, shout out to Mr. Williams, because, you know, that nigga, he a real nigga. Dude, this dude gonna tell Mr. Williams that I stole the Nintendo. And obviously Mr. Williams knew my dad. I got my ass whooped. But he was a fucking rat. And my point is that, you know, yes, black people are snitches too, for sure, as we can see in the YSL case. But Hispanics, like, they really
they're taught not to tell on their own, even though they do. Okay. I'm not saying that they're not rats either, and they don't rat on their own, but I'm saying they're more likely to rat on a black dude. Same with well, in this day and age, honestly, I don't know, because nowadays the white boys, they might stand 100% 10 toes. If they really did if they really was like that, like the white boys might stand 10 toes and not rat at all, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. I've seen it multiple times where like a white boy was like, he was like an Eminem type figure. Like he was playing Wigga. You know what I'm saying? He was like a real Wigga, and he had a nigga pass too. So all y'all are talking about, oh, well, white people can't. I know white boys who had nigga passes and still have nigga passes in prison right now to this day in Georgia State Prison. White boys with a nigga pass. Facts. And these white boys, they would stand 10 toes down if they ever got caught up in some shit. Like me personally, I have not, when like the white boy is, you know, I've seen it probably in like cases here and there, but in my personal life, when a white boy is trying to play Wigga and like he's really down, like he get jumped in by a blood set or a crip set or something like that, and then shit hits the fan and niggas get arrested, the white boy oftentimes, a lot of times, either won't say a word or is the last to roll. And maybe that's because he might understand his rights more, but you know, and that also could be a morality thing, a loyalty thing. You know, it could go both ways, but the Mexicans, they're definitely going to snitch on you. So that was a whole fucking tangent. I don't even know where I was going at with that. I think I was responding to a chat, if somebody could remind me of exactly what I was saying. But my point was that, you know, Mexicans skip school a lot of times because they were put in the slow classes. They were put in the, you know, the retarded nigga classes. And I mean, shit, just because I don't speak the language doesn't mean I'm fucking retarded, right? So they should have had like some type of bilingual teacher and whatnot to help them and teach and, you know, score them based off of their actual intellect, not just the fact that they can speak English. But they didn't, and that's why a lot of Hispanics, skip class. You know, obviously, you know, single motherhood as well, but a lot of them skip class just because, like, I ain't going to that dumbass class because I'm not trying to be with them, you know, excuse my French, but retarded ass niggas. That's just the reality of the situation. Like, you had niggas with like 3-4 foot heads, like literal physical deformities in class with, you know, smooth ass Enrique's and swagged up ass Hugos. You know, the Spanish dudes, they had that goth look in high school. They had that goth look. All the Spanish dudes, they wore all black, like they were, you know, acting like some punk rock, you know, type dude. They had their hair slicked back. It was that type of thing. Hispanic and multicultural students were more likely than Asian, Black, and white students to have persistent feelings of sadness and hopelessness. Black students were more likely than Asian, Hispanic, and white students to attempt self-deletion. Wow. So remember when, you know, I mean, we've been hearing for so long, black people don't commit suicide. We ain't doing it because we believe in heaven and hell, and we know that if we delete ourselves, when we go into hell, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. Black people are, according to the CDC, more likely to commit self-deletion. Okay? At least young black men, young black students, right? But black people don't kill themselves, do they? All right. Y'all keep thinking that. But look at what's that boy name? The rapper, what's that boy name? The one out of Chicago. He got charged with manslaughter because he accidentally deleted his best friend. Damn, I can't even remember this boy name now. I think he was a Crip nigga or some shit, right? I think he was a Crip nigga. Let me see. Hold on, it's gonna bug me. He killed himself because of a girl. Remember that? Damn, somebody in the chat. Fuck with me. Damn, I can't remember that boy's name, but he was a rapper out of Chicago. Lil Loaded? Was it Lil Loaded? Yeah, Lil Loaded. Lil Loaded. Yeah, man. R.I.P. Lil Loaded. That nigga killed himself. That nigga killed himself. Allegedly over a bitch. And he accidentally killed his best friend. So, I mean, that will fuck with a man. Act with urgency. The report comes after recently released data show overall self-deletion rate rises for the first time after a 2-year deadline or decline. Particularly, listen up, particularly among Black children and youth who saw the highest increase. So Black children and Black youth had the highest increase of self-deletion. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Health officials highlight the urgent need for investment in school programs, as a survey also found 61% of high school students felt a sense of school connectedness. Young people are experiencing a level of distress that calls on just to act with urgency and compassion, said Kathleen Ethier, director of adolescent and school health at the CDC. With the right programs and services, programs and services in place, schools have the unique ability to help our youth flourish. No, men just need to feel like they're accomplishing something. And in these fucking indoctrination camps you call high school, middle school, and elementary schools, they're not accomplishing a fucking thing. They have to get extracurriculars to feel like they accomplished something. And if they're not athletically gifted, it's even harder. Like a lot of times, it's even if you're a young man and you're making good grades, it really doesn't fucking matter because you're still not getting what you want. Because you could be making good grades, but you might be getting bullied. You could be making good grades, but you have no clout, you have no popularity, you ain't getting no bitches. Like, it doesn't even fucking matter. Like, if you go up to a girl and say, "Oh, I'm the valedictorian of this school. I have a great future. I'm going to Harvard. Would you consider me as a dude?" The bitches will laugh in your fucking face. They will laugh in your goddamn face, bruv. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact, bro. They'll laugh in your goddamn face, bro. Like, imagine you go up to a bitch in high school. "Oh, I'm the salutatorian. I made all A's last semester. Would you date me?" Fuck no. They're going to laugh in your face and say, "Do you play football? Do you play basketball? Hell, do you even play soccer? Do you play baseball? What do you do? Who the fuck are you? Why are you talking to me?" And this is coming from an athlete who played multiple sports in high school. I ran track. I played basketball. I played football. I played baseball. Okay? Okay? This is coming from an athlete who played multiple sports, a multi-sport athlete. And I'm telling you, and I was always driving up the averages on our team because I made all A's. So I was like one of the smartest niggas on the team. It didn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. Are you playing? Are you good? How do you look? That's what mattered. That's what mattered. And everybody fucking knows. And if you're denying that, then you're full of shit. You're full of shit. Okay. So we're done with this article. Let's get to the men, and then I'll have to close it. I wanted to get to way more stories, but I just don't have time right now. But we'll get a good 2-hour stream in. Mr. Jake the Great. Okay, no, I read that one. Alphazo says, these girls getting pimped out to men who are 40 plus when they're 18 and 22 years old. Soon as they graduate high school, they on dating apps and going to the club. Facts. Alphazo says, girls don't care about age gaps. When we used to warn them, they would tell us mind our business and get our money up. Facts! Wow, that was so real, Alphazo. Because when we were in high school, I would be looking like, dude, man, there was this one girl in my high school. She played basketball. I'm not gonna put her name out because I'm good friends with her dad, and our family is really tight. But literally, she had the biggest fucking ass and the smallest fucking waist, like some shit that you would never imagine. I'm talking about some shit that looked like a BBL, but it was all natural. Oh my God. She had some flaws though, but her face was so beautiful. Face was beautiful. She had gap teeth, you know what I'm saying? She had gap teeth. So that was one of the flaws. That was one of her flaws. Okay. She had gap teeth. But she was so beautiful. And I used to flirt with her or whatever, but we never fucked, unfortunately. Cause she was choosing on some other nigga who, I'm not gonna say he's toxic either, because he was the homie, but he was, he was objectively more attractive than me. Okay. And she was fucking with him. All right. And he was not committing, and he was fucking a whole bunch of girls and cheating on her and shit like that. And then, obviously in middle school, I was getting bitches, but I was still a simp. You know what I'm saying? I still had that blue vitamin conditioning. So I'm I was literally you know what I'm saying? I slick was player hating. I'm not gonna lie. I slick was player hating. I was like, yo, we'll call her E right now. Yo, E, why are you even fucking with this nigga? He doing you so dirty, baby. I was that type of nigga, you know what I'm saying? Why are you even fucking with this nigga? I know it's dirty Mac and y'all. I know that's some lame ass shit. It is some lame ass shit, because when I got older and I started realizing, damn, she chose to be with that nigga because she felt like that was the highest value guy in her vicinity. And she was dealing with this dude, and he was older. And he was, doing whatever the fuck he wanted to do. He was fucking hella bitches in high school and shit like that. And he was a guy who peaked in high school. But still, he was, he was the Malcolm on campus, the massively attractive, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable man. Here I am, a mildly attractive, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable man. And I'm trying to talk to E with the big old fat ass. And I'm like, yo, E, you should just fuck with me. I like you like that. And we were always she friend zoned the fuck out of me. She friend zoned me hard, bruh. She friend zoned me hard. She was like, oh, I don't like you. I don't like you like that. We just friends. We boom back. And sometimes she would give me sexual innuendo jokes to keep the faucet running. I felt like she, when you poke a little hole in your water bottle and then you let it drip and it's just dripping, leaking slowly. That's what she was doing to me. She was here. And, during that time, I was still fucking with other bitches, but I was still trying to fuck with her too. And I wanted her, honestly. I really did. And I was going to make her, an honest woman, my nigga, for sure. I was finna be, boom, it's a wrap, high school sweetheart. Okay, it's done. You know what I'm saying? And we were close, and I'm still friends with her to this day. We still joke around, but she always dated older men. Always. And when she got over that nigga, the nigga who she was fucking with, after he cheated on her a bajillion times, she ended up dealing with some 34-year-old nigga, bro, and ended up getting pregnant. I was like, damn, that could have been me. But she's a sweet girl. I still love her to death to this day. Not in love with her, but I do love her. I got love for her, you know what I'm saying? And it's just crazy because it's just what the red vitamin teaches, bro. She literally chose the toxic guy over the guy who was willing to, be the knight in shining armor. And I was like, nigga, I brought a bitch flowers on Valentine's Day. I was doing shit and I wasn't even her man, you know what I'm saying? High school shit, man. It was fun though. I look back at it and I don't regret it because, that shit. I'm not gonna say that flowers work, and if you just give a woman flowers, but it works with a woman that you're fucking and that really likes you. Like if you do all that simp shit, but you still play her when the girl actually fucks with you, then like everything that you do is kind of cute, unless you just like totally lose frame. You know what I'm saying? But like if a girl is really into you, everything that you do is gonna be like, it's gonna be attractive to her, and unless you do like some gay shit, or if you get totally emasculated, maybe you get your ass beat or something, or I don't know. It'll have to be a drastic situation to make that woman lose attraction for you. Maybe if you cry over something petty, because I don't even agree with that. Oh, don't cry in front of your girl thing. I mean, I do in theory, but I do think that there is a way to use crying in front of your girl to make her fall for you even fucking harder. As long as what you're crying about is not some pussy shit. All right. So that's just my opinion. Noel D says, to be fair, men's behavior is more outlandish. Simping and laziness is at an all-time high. Yeah, we're going to get to that. Alphazo says 70%, but they want to push us in that direction more and keep up the brainwashing through TV, movies, music, and school. Yes, they do. Alphazo says they want everyone to be LGBT so that numbers will be 90+%. Right. Alphas, and that's population control agenda too, guys. Alphazo says we have to self-improve, no room for complacency or stagnation. Yep. Mr. Jake the Great says, cock conversation again. Yep, you already know. Mr. Jake the Great also says, this dude Jinquavius hit the hose with the Zuby on God. He also says, Ayo, Jin Q, smoke some of that white rhino before the stream. Yeah, nigga, shit got me coughing. He says, facts, that ESL program. Yes, thank you. The ESL program isn't that was it extended special learning? What was that shit called again? What was that shit called again? Oh yeah, the English has a second language program. Okay, yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, man, the ESL program, and I'm gonna tell you right now, the ESL program was literally the retarded class. I'm not even gonna cap. Like it was niggas drooling in the class because the teachers, they were split. Okay, so the only bilingual teacher was also the retarded kids teacher. So she couldn't take her eyes off of them kids. I mean, you can't take your eyes off of regular high school kids. I mean, if you got a teacher, well, the main teacher knows not to leave the classroom. But if a substitute teacher leaves the classroom for 5 minutes, it's OV. He gonna come back to a fight. He gonna come back to some stupid prank. He gonna come back to some chaos. Okay, but if you leave those retarded kids, respectfully, if you leave those retarded kids alone, nigga, they gonna fucking burn the school down, and that's facts. That's facts. I think that's one of the reasons why we got rid of our home ec program, because literally, and I ain't even gonna lie, like I was a little ableist when I was in high school, because like looking at and I respect all my retarded niggas and shit like that for show, you know what I'm saying? Like shout out to the retarded niggas, but that shit used to make my skin crawl, bro. Like I wasn't scared, but it was almost it was like almost like internally I felt sorry for. It was almost like I was empathizing with them, but then I also was I might have also had some soft ableism in my feeling. It wasn't hate toward them, it wasn't discrimination, but it was just like, I don't want to see these niggas. Like if I see these niggas, it's gonna ruin my fucking day. Like you know what I'm saying? And nothing against them. And honestly, like I even sat in a class one or two times, but I don't know, man. It just fucked me up. Like seeing niggas with like wild birth defects, it made my skin crawl, bro. And I just couldn't. So like imagine, and I'm imagining how I felt. Imagine basically a foreign student, his parents just illegally immigrated into the country, tried to settle in New Orleans, and then that bitch got flooded out by Katrina, and then they moved up north to Georgia. Now they're in my high school. They don't speak a lick of fucking English, and then they're immediately thrown into a class with niggas who, I mean, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Niggas who had different side, like one side of their frontal lobe was shaped totally different from the other. Totally different. And it really made me feel some type of way. And it took me a while to get over that. Like, I couldn't eat lunch if the retarded niggas were like I would have to face away from them. No, and this is no disrespect, but it was just so, and I felt so bad for them. I really did. But then also I just felt this, man, I don't even know the feeling. And, I got retarded nigga friends, you know what I'm saying? No cap. And I'm not trying to say, oh, well, I got that one retarded friend like they do. Oh, I got the one black friend. But man, it took me a while to really get over that. You know what I'm saying? It really did. And I'm not ashamed to say that because I was a kid. I was young. I understood what was going on with them, but it disgusted me. It disgusted me, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I don't know how to describe it, but I know there's other people who feel the same way. And I don't want to do anything to them. I'm not saying that I want to hurt them or any way. I really feel bad for them, but then I also have this feeling of just, it makes my skin crawl to look, be around, even audibly, like just hearing them niggas in the hallway gives me PTSD. You know what I'm saying? Like remembering that, and I'm not even trying to be mean or anything, but just remembering them niggas in the hallway was a traumatic experience. So I guess I can, understand what the CDC is coming from when they were talking about traumatic experiences in high school, because that was definitely a traumatic experience. Like, so imagine what those Mexicans were feeling when they're thrown in that class and they got niggas who, done ripped off half their shirt, and it ain't even halfway through second period yet. The nigga got half his shirt ripped off and he's chewing his damn drawers. Like, they literally had to have a washer and dryer machine in the classroom for the retarded niggas, and they put them niggas in the basement. So if y'all think I'm talking bad about them niggas now, shit, talk to my school district, because they put them niggas in the basement. Talk to Region 8A, because most of the schools were built the same way, and they put the retarded kids in the basement, which is probably not the best idea, especially if they were to burn some shit. But they literally had to have washer and dryer machines in the retarded niggas classroom, because they would drool on their shirts and they would have to wash it in the middle of the school. Excuse me, in the middle of the school day. And I'm not trying to be ableist or anything like that. I'm just reminiscing on high school and how I really felt. Alpha Zo says, trans reclaim your throne with muscles. Let me get my passport ready. Oh God. Mr. Jake the Great says, correct, can confirm. Yes. Distant Light says, I remember we used to scream Jerry, Jerry whenever a fight happened in public school. LMAO. There had to be a person like Mr. Williams to maintain order. Big facts. And I remember we had this Officer Gabriel, this big fucking yoked white guy. And he used to, people like to say, oh, the cops are racist. Dude, this dude was like the most non-racist guy you ever think, you know what I'm saying? Big ass white guy. He used to come and he really had like an urban personality. Like, he was like, yo, what the fuck is good? Whatever. Like, he used to play with us, cuss with us, whatever, fuck around. He used to come through and play bloody knuckles with niggas. So like, we would play bloody knuckles with this cop, and we would like, punch each other's knuckles and see who could go the longest with Officer Gabriel and shit. And he's just this big yoked fucking white guy. And whenever a fight happened, he just run over there and fucking break that shit up. Bro, it was so, my middle school experience was so awesome. One time there was this nigga, damn, I forgot this nigga's name, but he got to fighting with this other nigga, and he threw this nigga through the window, bro. And Officer Gabriel came Like Officer Gabriel seen the fight, came through and burst, like jumped through the window. And the window was partially broken, but he just like jumped in like fucking Superman and tackled. He tackled both of them niggas. And then one time there was a fight with this nigga named Takaias and this bitch named Kiera, and they just got to fighting in the like before lunch. We used to wait in the gym, like the auditorium or whatever. And we would just wait and we would just chill and whatever until school started after breakfast. Right. It was, you know, you'll go to breakfast and you'll go to the auditorium, you'll chill. And like a lot of fights used to happen there because it was just a whole bunch of middle school, you know, a whole bunch of black middle school kids in the same area. Like it's bound to happen. And literally these niggas got to fighting. This is the biggest girl I've ever seen. This girl was like 6 foot in middle school, big ass, big titties, but she was like ugly in the face. And she literally was like a grown woman. She wasn't 6 foot, but she was like 5'8", 5'9". She was a tall bitch. And this is middle school. And she got to fighting with this nigga named Takaias. And bro, they was hooking like a motherfucker. And she was holding her own. And he was holding his own, obviously. And Officer Gabriel came. And when they got the fighting, it was like a whole sea of middle schoolers falling off the bleachers. You should have seen it. It was fucking amazing. And when they got the fighting, Officer Gabriel, like he got the radio for the fight. This nigga came running in like fucking Batman and jumped and just put both of them in. I don't know how, but he locked both of them up in some type of jujitsu hold. And, you know, the rest was history. No one says no good deed. Yep. Mr. Jake the Great says the stone tangent goes crazy. Distant Light says, I know, right? I mean, if it's the retarded classes, then they could theoretically skip a significant percentage of class and still pass. And that's what they would do. They would be like, I don't need this shit. Boom, boom, bap. They would leave. They'll smoke the weed in the bathroom. They'll skip, you know, until the end of school. Then they'll come back when school ends, hang out in the parking lot, and then dip. And a lot of them niggas ended up graduating. A lot of them didn't, though. I think we had like 175 people in our high school who didn't graduate in my graduating class. That was just one graduating class, 175%. By the way, the girl who I was talking about earlier with the big old ass and the gap teeth, she didn't graduate. You can't make this shit up, bro. Like, now that I'm thinking back on high school, I'm just like, wow, that shit is crazy. Like, this girl, I mean, and she was, I love her to death, but she was dumb. She was really dumb. Like, she used to cheat on me on, like, you know, I was simping, I was friend zone, and she was like using me to get good grades. You know, sometimes she'll let me, you know, slap her ass a couple times. I copped a couple feels, but I never got the hit, never got no head, never got no hand job, anything like that. So one time we even laid up in the bed together and like we were cuddling. Man, it was fucked up because like a nigga, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I bust in my pants. Like we was cuddling and I bust. And I had to fucking switch. Nigga, I had to like turn my damn pajamas because she, you know, I told you I had 3 sisters and all that stuff. They play basketball and they used to have sleepovers. The girl was on the basketball team, obviously. And, you know, long story short, you know, she slept over one time. We was like cuddling in the bed. And like I literally was like cuddling her from the back. And dude, I'm telling you right now, biggest ass you ever seen, like hands down on the thinnest fucking waist. And we were cuddling and literally, you know, I was trying to like move around, acting like I was getting comfortable. But, you know, honestly, I was trying to like escalate and I ended up like bussing, like no penetration, just like nigga. I don't know what the fuck. It was some middle school hornball shit, not middle school, high school hornball shit. And I ended up busting and I had to turn my pajamas around. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, damn, this was some dumbass shit. But I literally had to like turn my pajamas around while we was in the bed together. So it was a crazy situation. Alphazo says Lil Loaded deleted himself over a girl after she broke up with him. Yep. No one says Steven Boss deleted himself. Yeah. Alphazo says kids are talking about they are depressed, sad, and bi at 5 to 10 years old, then put on drugs. Facts. Alphazo says drug dealers, athletes, fly kids, are greater than the valedictorian. Absolutely. Mr. Jake the Great says no arguments from me. Yep. Alphazo says, and the others would get mad and tell us, chill out, stop acting so smart. Yep, you absolutely right. Distant Light says, oh man, it happens. Mr. Jake the Great says, See, if I tried to do that, all girls in the school would have avoided me and called me desperate, and some dude have all the luck. Yeah, some dudes have all the luck. Yeah, some dudes really did have all the luck. Alpha Zo says, you can't make this shit up. Prego by a 34-year-old sounds like a bunch of girls I grew up with. Yep. And the girl didn't graduate either. So, you know, her priorities were pretty much on dick. And, you know, I genuinely like was head over heels in love with this girl in high school. I'm not even gonna cap. Like, I genuinely was in love with her. And, you know, I had girlfriends and shit like that. I had other bitches that I fucked with and liked mildly, but I really like loved this girl, and she was just not giving me she was not giving me the time of day. So I mean, that just goes to show that like men love harder than women, because nigga, I loved her, and I had never like fucked, never did anything. Like, I used to kiss her on the cheek and the forehead and shit, but that's about it, honestly, man. Honestly, it sounds really sad when I look back on it, but it wasn't like I wasn't fucking with other girls at the same time. But I really wanted her, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Jake the Great puts 199 on it. He says, just sending this for S&G. Be safe, big bro. HAGN. I don't know what that means, but
Oh, say less.
night. Have a good night. Okay. Alvazo says, most of the girls I grew up with all have baby daddies who are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. The girls are still in their 20s, early 30s. Yep. Distant Light says, English a second language. Yeah, the ESL program. It's supposed to be ESE. Special ed and ESL not together in the same class. Yeah, they were in the same class at my school. Alvazo says a few ESE kids became rappers and hood stars. That is true. Look at Lil Welvin. Y'all remember Lil Welvin? And I ain't gonna lie, when I first saw Welvin, I was like, why the fuck is this nigga? Like, it disgusted me. But then, like I said, I had to grow up. I had to get older. I had to realize that, man, they were dealt a fucking shitty hand genetically. And, you know, I just need to pray to God and thank God that I'm not like that, honestly. Spark That Shit says, yo, I was in ESL, but that's because I was from a different country, so I had to learn English. Spark That Shit also says, only there for 3 months, though, after becoming fluent at 6. Nice. Distant Light says, Katrina had super gremlins moving to Houston and causing trouble there, too. Facts. Alvazo said, being in ESL at a young age was like being in the friend zone you never getting out of. Distant Light says, the only retarded kids at my school were always cool, just slow. Nah, see, the retarded kids at my school, they literally, some of them were like, you know, heavy autistic, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then some were just like completely, you know, they literally had no brain cells, and they were just going to school because it was required. I mean, I guess they could do like little puzzle pieces and coloring books and shit, but that's about it. Distant Light says they didn't pick shit up quickly enough. Spark That Shit said it traumatized me. Yeah, I'm sure. Noel D says a lot of the retarded kids were very deformed. Some look like Sloth from the Goonies. Very repulsive. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And it's so sad. It really is, but that's the fucking truth. He brought out Sloth for the Goonies. Oh, my God. That is bringing up some crazy memories. I'm not even going to lie. This is Light says, shit. I remember I used to ride the desegregation bus. Some of the proto-gremlins, a guy and a girl, were fighting hard once, and the bus driver stopped and said, I'm calling the cops. Alvazo said, this dude sound like Captain America. Yeah, Officer Gabriel, if you're out there, shout out to Officer Gabriel, Clark County Police Department. You know, he was a fucking hero. Distant Light says, this tall white cop, like a BLM protester's nightmare cop, shows up, shouts, who's fighting? We all fucking dive under our seats scared. One of the kids end up saying, I have feelings for her. LMAO. All right, guys, so let's talk about the men. We talked about the women, so now it's time to get on the men because equality, right? So let's talk about the men. And let's talk about the causes of why men are dropping out of the workforce. Working age men, military age men, dropping out of the workforce in record numbers, dropping out of high school, dropping out of college, not getting, you know, degrees, whatnot, in record numbers. Why is this?
And how bad the problem is right now.
Well, look at it this way. We can do a work rate, an employment rate for the prime age men. If you take a look at last month's numbers, they're lower than they were in 1940 at the tail end of the Great Depression. So we really do have a depression scale problem for work for men in
Okay. So he's saying numbers looking like the tail end of the Great Depression, my nigga. He's saying we getting numbers from the Great Depression.
the United States. If you look at the 21st century as a whole, the work rate for prime age men is actually substantially lower than it was in 1940. So we've basically got a 1937 scale work crisis for men in America.
1937 scale. The Great Depression went from 29 to 39, right? Then we go into World War II. Then we get the Roaring 50s.
And we're missing it because we only look at the unemployment rate and at the number of people employed. We forget to look at the numbers.
So what he's about to talk about okay, so this is an economics lesson, guys. And, you know, as you guys know, I did graduate from the University of Georgia, Terry College of Business. So I am well-versed in economics. What he's talking about right here, when we record unemployment numbers. So the unemployment numbers are not the real unemployment numbers. I hope you guys know that. Okay. So when Biden is on TV and he's, unemployment is at a record low and unemployment is at, what is it? I don't know. What are they saying it's at now? 4.9% or something like that, or 4.6. I don't know. But they're saying that, unemployment is at a record low. Unemployment is at a record low. That's not true. Okay. The way that they record the unemployment number is they record people who are, you know, in between jobs, which is frictional unemployment. Okay. They just got laid off or they quit their job and they're looking for another job. Or people who haven't been in the workforce but are looking for a job. So that's how they calculate the unemployment number. So it's basically anybody who is trying to get a job but can't get one. All right. The real unemployment numbers are unemployment plus the underemployment, which are the people who completely are just out of the workforce. They don't have any desire to get a job. They're not filling out applications. That's the real unemployment number. And that shit is skyrocketing, bro. They don't have a job. They're not filling out applications. They don't want to work. Even if you handed them a job on a silver platter, they still wouldn't take it. Even if you said, hey, we got this job sewed up for you, they're not. Like, that's the number that we're talking about when we're talking about the working age men who are no longer in the workforce.
For people who are neither working nor looking for work. For every guy who is out of work and looking for a job these days, there are over 4 who are neither working nor looking for work. So if you track the unemployment happy talk.
Wow. So what he basically said is the underemployment rate is 4 times the unemployment rate. So if we have, I think average unemployment is between 5.2, 5.6%. And those are considered decent numbers for unemployment. Multiply that by 4.
You are missing 4/5 of the problem.
Were they working at one point?
Some of them were, but many of them are long-term dropouts from the workforce.
You have it.
What you see if you look over the history of the post-war era is a series of declining trajectories, almost like, failing rockets. Each younger group works less at any given age in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s than the group before them. It's almost like rings on a tree. And so now you have a very large...
So you hear them. Each younger group works less than the older generation. So, the old heads, they're just watching it go by. And honestly, a lot of the men have been pushed out of the home. So, this is happening on the woman's dime. Honestly, the single mothers who are raising these kids, a lot of these women don't encourage these young men to get jobs. They really don't. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. A lot of them enable the behavior. The young nigga, he can stay home as long as he got a street hustle or something, bringing back that bacon. They're not encouraging the young men to get a job.
number of men who are basically long timers out of the workforce altogether.
So why aren't they working?
Well, one reason that doesn't fly is that we can't say they're at home taking care of other people. There's an enormous care chasm between guys who are out of the workforce and women who are out of the workforce. It's like an order of magnitude different. If you ask,
So he's basically saying the reason why they're not working is not because, oh, they got a sick mother or they got a sick father and they're just not working because they're taking care of somebody. That's more typical with women. With the young men, it's a little different. So let's listen.
ask these guys, and we do in these different labor surveys, why aren't you at work? Only a tiny fraction of them say that it's not because there are any jobs for them. And today that would be kind of implausible if you look at the peacetime, labor shortage that we've got going on. Some of them say that it's because of health problems. Some of them say that it's because of other problems.
And a lot of veterans are getting done dirty too. A lot of veterans are getting done dirty.
But it's not because of a lack of work, and it's not because of things that they're doing at home. For other people.
When did the problems start in earnest, like these big numbers?
That's a really interesting question. For the first 2 decades of the post-war era, there was no sign of this problem at all. Then starting around 1965, a flight from work by men started to become evident in these numbers. And the really weird thing about this flight from work is that it's almost like a straight line from the 1960s to today. I mean, people are a little bit disorderly and, irregular. But if you look at the...
Let's run it back. This is important. She asked why. When did this happen? Listen up.
And the really weird thing about this flight from work is that it's almost like a straight line from the 1960s.
What happened in the 1960s? What happened in the 1960s? What happened in the 1960s? All right. Third wave feminism, guys. Third wave feminism. That's the reality. That is the reality. Okay. That is the reality, or at least the generation who brought in third wave feminism were born. So we start to see this total drastic decline. And then third wave feminism really started heating up in the, late 80s, mid 90s. And that's where you get all those shows that Kevin Samuels used to mention, like Oprah and those daytime talk shows, just shitting on men all morning long, all day long. Right. So I definitely think that is a direct correlation to, and obviously correlation isn't causation, right? You got to say, correlation isn't causation, but it's definitely intertwined and woven into the fabric of the underemployment rate that we see now amongst young men.
To today. I mean, people are a little bit disorderly and, irregular. But if you look at the numbers themselves, it's almost tracking a straight line through the 60s and 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, the 2010s. It's been going on with almost, kind of geophysical regularity now for almost 60 years.
I don't get it. If it were pandemic related, I would get it. They got paid by the government to stay at home. They liked it. The pandemic induced a lot of stress, anxiety, depression in people that they're struggling to get over to this day. I don't get 50 years of men leaving the workforce more and more and more. Like, I don't.
So you don't get it. I'm going to tell you why. Me Too era. Okay. A lot of women were coming in and replacing men's jobs. That's the facts. Okay. Men were getting pushed out. Right. And the thing is, yes, could all these men just wake up and say, hey, let's go look for a job now? Yeah, they could. Technically, they could. But at the end of the day, what are they going to deal with in the workplace? False rape allegations, Me Too allegations, intercourse harassment allegations, HR complaints. My dog is barking, sorry. They're going to have to deal with all these things. So they are discouraged from working. They don't want to be in the same spaces as these feminazis, bro. I was reading, there was an article that I think was on Reddit, and this woman was basically asking people in a Reddit forum if she should report this guy because he refused to interact with the women at work, but he would interact with the guys, you know, his male coworkers. She said it's making the women uncomfortable that he won't talk to them and that he keeps everything business, and he won't talk about anything personal. He just keeps everything business with them. And she literally went to a Reddit forum and contemplated reporting him to HR. For what? He didn't do shit but not say. You can't even not do anything and you're liable to get reported. So that's why men are leaving the workforce, because they said, up, we've had enough of this shit. And whenever it comes to he say, she say shit, she say is always prioritized over he say. Let me say that again. Whenever it comes to some he say, she say shit, she say is always prioritized over he say.
What is that?
Well, Megan, it's clearly unnatural because for what, 10,000 generations, 50,000 generations in Homo sapiens, in our species, men are kind of like a natural provider force. And now you have an enormous contingent of men in modern America who are cast into this unnatural role as dependents upon society. You couldn't have something like this happening if we weren't as fantastically prosperous as we are today. You go through the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, up to the present, and you can come up with different kind of explanations that kind of work in part. One of the things that is said about rich countries in general is that they've been affected by what economists call structural and economic transformation, decline of manufacturing, outsourcing. China enters the WTO. I mean, there's some truth to that in depressing work rates.
And this is what I'm going to say. I mean, even though we have all these factors working against us, guys, you got to get that bread. You got to get the money. Don't be a slave to the money, but you got to get the money. Okay. You have to possess it at least. So, I mean, honestly, there really is no excuse in this day and age with the digital age. I mean, you can do anything to make money nowadays. I'm not going to say that you can be rich, and it's substantially more difficult as a man to make money in this day and age. It really is. Because unless you want to go into like some intensive labor job where you're getting paid $25 an hour to, eat shit all day, essentially, it is pretty tough unless you're an entrepreneur and you have like a really good business that's online, maybe remote, or maybe you have a brick and mortar and you just fucking came out and crushed it off rip, or you had some financial help or financial backing, or maybe you lucked up and finessed off the PPP loan and did it legally. Whatever you did, the issue is, if you are trying to do something online, it is definitely difficult, especially if you're open with, maybe the way that you lean politically. Okay. Because they can literally, I mean, nigga, I have a whole separate business from, what I do on YouTube and all this other shit. And when I try and do PPC, which is pay-per-click and all this other stuff like SEO optimization on my other websites, because they got my MAC address and they got my VPN, like Google is what I'm talking. When I say they, Google or the social media oligarchs, and Google is Alphabet, who, Alphabet is top down. Alphabet, Google, YouTube are subsidiaries, whatnot. And pretty much they have my VPN, they have my MAC address. Like they know if anything that I post, bro, even if I run ads, even if I pay to promote my business on social media, they already turned my knob off. Like they literally said, reclaim your throne, turn his shit the fuck off. Okay. Remember when I reviewed that viral button that TikTok had? Yeah. Google has that shit too. Every social media company has that shit. And yes, Google is a social media company, also a search engine, but a social media company as well. Or they work, you know, hand in hand with social media companies. So you might as well say they're a social media company too. Guys, they know what the fuck you believe in. All right. And I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm not saying that you can't get rich off of internet business and be outward with your political stance. But if you do lean toward conservative, they're going to do everything in their power to make sure that you don't make a fucking dime. They're going to do everything in their power to make sure that if you dump $1,000 into PPC, you get no fucking leads. They're going to do everything in their power to make sure that if you run ads on Google, YouTube, Instagram, that you keep running ads. And they may not be that successful, but you know, we'll throw you a bone. We'll throw you a bone here and there. Like if I started running ads on my YouTube, not running ads, but if I started buying, you know, engagements as they call it on my YouTube, which I could do, which I haven't done, and I won't do, but which I could do if I started running ads on my shit, then they got you. They got you. So now, unless you're going to be a lifetime customer, then your shit is dead. Like your shit is OV. Okay. That's pretty much how it is. Like once you pay, once you become a customer, you're a lifetime customer and you're not going to see any growth on any of your shit. Or the growth is going to be extremely stagnating. You know, unless you keep paying, which they'll still, even if you're paying, they'll still fuck with your numbers. It's bullshit.
And labor force participation for men all around the world, but it doesn't really explain what you see in our country. I mean, you wouldn't have a straight line out of the workforce if this was a consequence of the business cycle, right? You'd see something that was kind of wavy.
Yeah.
You'd see the China shock when China entered the WTO. You don't see that.
And this is how you can tell this guy's blue vitamin, because he literally has no idea why young men are discouraged. I just fucking told you. HR disasters, okay? Third wave feminism. Obviously, you know, women entering the workforce, although people are like, oh, well, yeah, we got equality, but it also fucked up business. It really did. Because what happened was now you have a higher supply in the workforce, and that's pretty much all economics is supply and demand. So now you have a higher supply in the workforce. So now that women are entering or have entered the workforce and they're completely integrated into the workforce, now it's like, shit, all y'all niggas are expendable. I mean, if you thought men were expendable before the 1950s, 1960s, shit, 2023, I'm glad to get rid of a man off of my staff. Not me personally, because I mean, when it comes to sales, women are good at sales, you know, some of them are, but and I run a business and I hire women, and I actually have more women who work for me than men. But when it comes to sales, yeah, I just rather have my guys on that, because, you know, a lot of women are scared to really pitch that go ahead and pitch that sales pitch, especially when it has to do with giving a number out or doing it. That's just from being an employer, you know, seeing how different people operate. The men they really are more ambitious. Like, and I do have some women who are extremely ambitious, who work for me. Like this girl, oh my God, she's she's not a ball burster, but she's like, I need to get paid this, and I'm this, and I'm that, and I provide value, and she knows her fucking worth. And I respect the hell out of that shit. You know what I'm saying? But, my point is, when you introduce a whole nother demographic into the workforce, it does increase the supply, and that essentially gives the employers all of the power. And it also pushed men out because, let's keep it a buck. Women are the number one tattletale. So any type of workplace, that's why in these companies, they talk about workplace culture. And then, when all these social media companies, like all the Silicon Valley, I'm sorry, I'm throwing a lot of information at you guys right now, but all the Silicon Valley companies pretty much fired or laid off, as they like to call it, a good amount of their employees, the ones who pretty much didn't do shit. Okay. And since then, you have a lot of women and a lot of like LGBT soy boy people, but mainly women, coming on TikTok and they're saying, oh, well, it was a toxic work environment. Like, bitch, you worked from home. What the fuck are you talking about as a toxic work environment? Bitch, you were on the laptop like majority of the time. You probably been to the headquarters once. And that's a stretch. A lot of these people are getting these jobs remotely. They don't even have to show up to a brick and mortar facility. And she's talking about a toxic work environment. So like, I mean, that's just how it is. So when men see this, they're like, if I'm not a CEO, if I don't own the company, if I'm not a manager, if I'm not a supervisor, then fuck this job. It's not even fucking worth it. Because, I'm working this job. I've been working this job my whole life, the way that I've been working it. And then now they integrated the workforce with not only, and I'm not saying that this is a bad thing, but it changed the dynamics of the workforce. So they integrated the workforce. Not only did they, bring women into the workforce, but they brought minorities into the workforce who had not been working with the quote unquote majority for a long time. So that could have also been a huge impact. Affirmative action could have been a huge impact, especially when it comes to employment with white men, because they feel like they're getting fucked because they're not melanated or they're not a minority or they can't claim some type of LGBT status. Like they feel like they have to check some type of box in order to fit into the company culture. And the company culture is pretty much just like leftist, woke. It has to be leftist. It has to be woke. You have to be feminist. You have to be LGBT positive. You have to take your dick and balls and shove it up your own ass. That's what you have to do. Okay. So, a lot of white men are feeling this pressure. And I think, black men and white men have been working together, not under the best circumstances, but when integration happened and more black people were getting employed, I'm not going to say it was a smooth transition at all, but I'm saying it was easier to cope with than what feminism did, because feminism brought a whole different factor. Because now not only do you have to, and I'm just speaking for the majority, and I am a black man, so it's not like I'm just like talking shit here, but from the white guy's perspective, the working class white man who is obviously, there's a huge amount of underemployed young black men for sure, 100%. But we still are the minority in this country, and the majority are white men, and those are going to be the majority who are underemployed in the United States. And when you look at these numbers for the white men, yes. Okay. Boom. Drastic change with integration. That's drastic change. Now throw in feminism. And now not only are you dealing with black men, Hispanic men, men of different races. Now you're dealing with women of different races, and they have different ticks and they have different things that upset them. And it's just like so much chaos brought into one situation. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be allowed to work and all this stuff. I'm just saying the drastic change within a small amount of time, it kind of created this situation. And yes, I'm for legal integration for sure, 100%. But do I think that everybody just works well together? Hell no. You know what I'm saying? And typically, in some cases it works out well, but typically men and women don't work well together, especially if they're on the same level. Like if let's say I'm at a car dealership and I'm a sales guy, and then there's a woman who's a sales woman, right? A lot of times you will see, and I've seen this before because I bought multiple cars. How many cars have I bought? I mean, I bought over like 5-6 cars in my lifetime. And when I go to these dealerships, there's definitely a power dynamic. And you don't see this power dynamic with supervisors and managers as much, but you do see this power dynamic with the regular employees. So, that's something there as well. But my point is this drastic change in the workforce, civil rights, affirmative action, all these different factors coming in have drastically influenced and affected the availability, or even, I mean, just the sheer want for young men to get involved in the workforce.
That at all. So
is it related to women entering the workforce in greater numbers? I mean, are these like, is it a role reversal where these guys are staying home and the wives are bringing home the bacon?
So look at what Megyn Kelly tries to do, and that was cute or whatnot. Like, I get she's trying to take little shots at men and say, oh, well, y'all can't handle strong, independent women coming into the workforce, and little dick energy and all that shit. And I just explained it, dude. If I'm not the fucking CEO, I'm just not trying to work with you. That's really what it is. Okay. If I'm not the CEO, I can't do it because you're going to run into all these problems. You go to the break room, you go to the coffee room, and you make a joke. Yeah, I like my coffee dark, or I like my coffee, light skin, or some shit like that. And boom, you're getting called to HR. Like, it's a fucking shit show, and you're getting Me Too'd.
Well, there are some people who argue that. I'm not so persuaded, and I'll tell you why. Because, I mean, women obviously have always worked. It's just since the end of World War II that they got paid for it in the labor force. But there's this huge influx of women into the labor force after World War II. And if they were displacing men, the participation rates would have flatlined. Instead, what we saw is that the participation rates went way up for like 50 years, from 1950 to the end of the century. And that means that women were kind of supplementing men. Since 2000, the participation rates for both men and women have been going down. So they've both been feeling the same pain. There's also something that I mention in this book, which we might want to keep our eye on. I'm not sure that it's a 4-alarm fire yet, but it's let's say a yellow flashing light. This is the women without work problem for prime age women who are out of the workforce and don't have kids at home and aren't currently married. There are about 3 million of them. And some of the patterns that they're reporting about their own lives, what they do with their own time, their drug use, are looking a little bit too close for comfort to what I show in this book about the guy.
So he's equating it to drug use as well, and then just like personal activity choices.
What's prime age? What is the prime age? What's the range?
Oh, prime age is 25 to 54. And it's
same as in the television key demo that we use to base our advertisement rates.
So that's a marketing thing, 25 to 54. She's basically saying, hey, that's the age demographic that we target to market our, shows to, because they're going to be the main consumers. They're just getting started in their career. They got a bag, they got credit card, debit card, all that shit, and they're ready to spend some money on, something that they fuck with or whatever.
It's on 25 to 54. That's the money spot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't come up with this. I wasn't smart enough to come up with this demographic, but it's kind of self-evident, prime working age is 25 to 54, but it's not just all dollars and cents. I mean, this is also key group for raising children, starting families. It's got a tremendously important social, and a lot of the dropouts, a lot of the male dropouts, they're disproportionately unmarried, don't have kids at home. I mean, you drop out of the workforce, you're also dropping out of family, you're dropping out of community. One of the things which I think is really kind of spooky that you see from looking at some of these numbers is how the workforce dropout guys say that they're spending their time. What do they do between
This is
waking
terrifying.
up,
Video games.
going to sleep? Right. This is
Yes,
their
all right,
self.
wait, I want to get to that 1 second, like how they're spending their time. But before we get to that,
Yeah.
like if you said this began in like even the 90s, I would get it. Opioid crisis hits, people are they're pulled into this darkness, and then sometimes it's hard to find a job, right? Like if you're an active addict or even a non-using addict, you have a criminal record. All this makes re-entering the workforce much tougher, right? Much tougher. So that I would get. Starting back 30 years before that, my God, I'm so confused. If you said this started in 2007, the advent of the iPhone, I'd say I get it. People, it's addictive. You spend all day, you can't pull yourself away. You said COVID, right? Like this is a much bigger problem. It's been going on for decades, and against it is the genetic gravitational pull of hunter-gatherer, support, family.
Well, men don't feel like that anymore. Like, let's keep it a buck. A lot of men in the West have been disincentivized from starting families. I actually was watching a video, a Tim Pool video, and he was talking to this father of this boy in Texas, and there's this case going on where basically the mother is transitioning the son into a transformer, and he's trying to fight it. He's trying to get custody. He's trying to like make it so, because when the boy is around him, he acts like a man or a boy. When he's around mama, he acts like a fucking y'all know what it is. He acts like a transformer, and the mother is trying to turn him LGBT, and the father's against it. It's a whole battle in court. They've been trying to appeal. Family court is bullshit. Family court, pretty much. I mean, why would a man have kids with some of these leftist crazy women when this woman might turn your kid to LGBT, bro? Like, bro, I ain't even gonna cap. If my son was LGBT, I would definitely shed some tears, bro. Like that'll fuck me up. That'll fuck me up. So I can only imagine if your son just straight transformed, bro. I would just feel like a fucking failure.
Be the man, like it's the same reason why, women like me who work can't deny that for most of us, there is this biological pull to be with our children. And like that's why we wrestle so much when we're not all day.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm so confused, Nick. I still don't get it, but I do think those events I mentioned probably exacerbated it. No?
Sure, absolutely. Let me mention a couple more. The decline in the post-war era of the previous family system, the two-parent family.
Single motherhood. I mean, it all comes back to that. And that was being heavily pushed in the 60s. I got videos from the 50s of specific, I'm going to play this on Black Gen Z Mindset one day, but I got videos from the 50s and 60s of Black women explicitly saying, I don't need no man. I can raise a kid on my own. Boom, boom, bap. And now look what we have.
Family norm. Guys who are not in the workforce are way more likely not to be in families either. The rise of the modern welfare state. Our European cousins tell us that we're terribly stingy. But in 1965, we were even stingier. The welfare state was still a twinkle in Lyndon Johnson's eye back then. And one of the things which we have seen over the last half century, I think, is how terribly destructive the whole disability archipelago of benefit payments for being out of work because you're said to be not able to work.
Yeah, I mean, incentivizing slothfulness and incentivizing, but men don't really benefit from these this welfare state that they speak. It's mostly women. Like, bro, I ain't even gonna like shit. When I got out of high school, I tried to get on food stamps. I tried to get EBT. Man, they denied my ass. It was fucked up.
Because bad.
Imagine by.
So let's see. So that's the video. That is the video for today, guys. So we talked about the women, we talked about the men, and we just gonna wrap it up right here. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Make sure you comment immediately after the stream. Let me know your thoughts. Very interesting. Very interesting video right there. Okay. A lot of young men dropping out of the workforce. A lot of women have been more depressed, but you know, the real shocker, well, it's not even a shocker, but the real jewel that we found is that 70% of the LGBT movement, these young teens who are involved in, you know, the alphabet community, this 70% are extremely depressed and extremely self-deletion idle. So, hey man, like I said, to all my LGBT, you know, guys out there, if you're out there, give some pussy a shot. Give pussy a shot. You know, it won't hurt. Okay, it will not hurt. You know, you'd be better for it. Okay, I promise you, it doesn't hurt worse than getting fucked in the ass. So, you know, you should probably try that. And then for the women who are involving themselves in the LGBT movement, unless you're 100% like ready to dyke up and like you're 100% good with that, then I would say if you think that you might regret it and then want to go back to a lipstick lesbian, then, you know, refrain from the tats, refrain from the piercings. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you get tatted like a fucking biker and get piercings like a freak, no man is going to want to deal with you. Not even the freaks. Like even the guys who do that weird ass shit, who have freaky engages and whatnot. I mean, even they want hot girls. Like they don't want a bitch with, you know, gauges with fucking 10-inch circumference. Like it's fucking insane. But anyways, you already know what it is. It's your boy Reclaim Your Throne. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Send your relationship questions to the email down below with a screenshot of your Cash App so I know you pay your tithes, man. Y'all need to be on your motherfucking team with the BS. You already know. Reclaim your throne.
Do you believe that the Lord tonight has set you free?
Yes, sir.
Turn around and tell those people.
Tell them.
I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women. Women. I said women. I'm not gay. I would not date a man. I would not carry a purse. I would not put on makeup. I will love a woman. Now listen, y'all praise God with him. Hold on, wait a minute. Somebody believe God with him. Hey! We don't just preach condemnation. We preach reconciliation. Hallelujah. God, help him, Lord. Help him, Lord. Help him. I wish I had some shown-up believers that'll come down here and dance with him and tell him you can do it in the name of Jesus. To run down towards that camera and tell them I got a brand new life. Run right now. Run, because it's in front of you. Glory to God. Somebody shout better.
Want to become an elite level athlete? Well, look no further. The Reclaim Your Throne Elite D1 training course is all you need to take your performance from subpar to the creme de la creme of athletes all around the world. The purpose of this course is to give you a comprehensive weight training, speed, flexibility, recovery, and endurance program that is meant to prepare young athletes for collegiate and professional sports. This course is packed with over 2 hours of creative, action-packed lifts narrated and coached by yours truly to assure increased strength, speed, flexibility, recovery, and endurance. Hey, I get it. Training alone can be tough and can even make you feel misguided or somewhat unmotivated. But with this course, I walk you step by step through each and every lift to make sure you're using the proper form to prevent injuries and that you're hitting the correct muscle groups to render maximum results. So what are you waiting for? It's now or never. So go ahead and get the training course today so you too can reclaim your throne.